Good day, everybody. My name is Mark Fournier. I'm going to be your instructor for AMT 7002, Agribusiness Financial Management. So today is Sunday, January the 16th. So the course is going to open up tomorrow. So I thought I'd put together a short video, about 5 minutes in length approximately, to go over the course, go over the expectations, and maybe answer some of your initial questions. First off, a little bit about myself. I've been teaching at the college for the last 10 years. I teach this course both online as well as face-to-face in the agricultural management program. So it's a privilege to be working with you guys here. These days we seem to be doing more and more online. And so I think the course here is starting to evolve quite nicely into a good online format. It's always been good, but now we're getting some of the tools that we can definitely utilize to take this up to the next level. So a little bit about myself. As I mentioned, I've been teaching at the college here for the last 10 years. I am a CPA, a Chartered Professional Accountant by trade. Prior to working at the college, I worked in industry with a group called Community Futures, where I help people and farms start their businesses. So I've got a little over a decade experience working as a lender and a business developer. And so we'll be bringing a lot of that into the classroom as well. Now, what I'd like to do is keep this course at a paced level. So I'll go through the schedule here in just a moment, but before I do that, some of you may be new to Moodle. I know many of you, I was going through the names, and I know many of you have had the privilege of working with before, so you've got a feel for my courses and how I have Moodle set up. But for those of you who I have not yet had the pleasure of working with, let's take a look at how Moodle is set up. So to begin with, we have your administrative items up front here, and I'll go through all of these in turn. Now down below here, you will see that a lot of the items are not available yet. What I've found, this one is available, but I'm going to, I'll hide this one, I guess, or take this one offline until we get to this particular week here once the this video is done. So when you see this, you will not be able to click on this at that point in time. So what I like to do is keep the course going at a paced version. Now, I've learned in the past that if I open everything up all at once, that some students can become really overwhelmed because there's a lot of reading, there's a lot of textbook material, a lot of quizzes, a lot of assignments, and so it can become somewhat intimidating. So historically, what I've done for this particular course is I open up a chapter a week, and you can see the schedule right here. All right, so you can see the different topics that we're going to cover each week in this particular schedule. Now, as you'll see, there is a final exam, and it's a case-based final exam, so it's not true, false, multiple choice, or anything along those lines. It's an actual case that is what I consider to be a real-world case, a real-world scenario. That's based upon the materials that you're going to learn in this textbook. And about 3 weeks out, I'll open up a practice case, so you'll see what the final exam is going to look like. Sample final exam, if you will, about 3 weeks before the exam is due. So what I like to do is keep this going at a nice pace. Now, once something opens up, it will open up until the end of the semester. So what does that mean? It means, while I will encourage you guys to do your quizzes on a weekly basis, any assignments to try and get those done on a weekly basis, once all the quizzes and assignments open, they will remain open until the very last day of the course. Because I do understand, and we understand here at the college, that life can happen, that sometimes you have other priorities, so you'll need to focus on other things for a couple of weeks, and that's fine. There's flexibility built in the course. All right, some weeks are a little bit more intense, other weeks not quite so intense. So if you have to double up a couple of weeks, it's not going to be a deal breaker there by any way, shape, or form. But I do encourage you to try and stay up on top of things as much as possible, simply because, you know, you fall behind, not so much fall behind, but if you miss a week or two, it's easy to catch up. But if you miss a month, then that becomes a little bit more cumbersome, a lot harder to catch up. I'm not going to say it can't be done, but it does get a little bit more difficult. So let's take a look at this class. What are we going to look at here? So first off, we have a README first, and this is just some information on how the course is run, how to get in touch with me, and I'll show you some more information there in a moment. So I'll let you read this. I'm not going to go through everything. It's kind of a waste of your valuable time because you can read this on your own. Now, the schedule, as I said here, it's a pretty, from a high level, it's a pretty easy schedule to follow, right? And each week we will have more in-depth information, and I'll show you week one here in just a moment. we have my contact information. Now, the best way of reaching me is email. All right, I'm on my computer here right now. Even at the college, we're not face-to-face, we're still online. So I'm basically in front of my computer at least 8 hours a day right now, Monday through Friday, and then occasionally on the weekends here as well. So the best way of reaching me, bar none, is through the email. Now, if you do want to give me a phone call, feel free to do so. 403-556-8343. It's my office number. Just leave a message there. But I'm going to be honest with you, it's probably been about 5 years since anybody's ever called me, so usually it's through email. And it can also be reached through Moodle. Now, there is a message board in Moodle, but I'm going to encourage you, don't message me in Moodle. I get that sporadically. I have almost 200 students right now, all in with all my courses. And I get notifications on the moment somebody submits something or does something in Moodle, I get messages. So I'll probably get 40 to 50 Moodle messages a day in some cases. And I've just found sometimes student messages can get lost there, and I apologize for that. But the best way of reaching me, bar none, is through email. Now, what I like to say is that if you want to chat face-to-face or virtually, I'm very happy to do that. Just fire me off a quick email, say, Mark, I want to talk. I'll happily set up an appointment with you. We use Google Meet here at the college, so I can fire you off a link, and then we can meet virtually very, very quickly. Evenings work well for me in many cases. Saturdays I'm usually offline, but Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, I'm usually back getting ready for Monday. So long story short, the best way of reaching me is through email, which is mfournier@oldscollege.ca. The next two items are the course competency and the course profiles. I'm not going to read through these. Again, you can read through these on your own. And this just lists everything that you're going to learn in this course over the next 15 weeks. Now after that, students are always wondering, where am I going to get my grades? How are the grades calculated? So here's how the grades work. Quizzes, we have chapter quizzes, are 35%. We have in-class chapter assignments worth 40%. And we have a final exam worth 25%. And as I mentioned earlier, the final exam is not a brain dump final exam. It's not true, false, multiple choice where you have to memorize a bunch of things. Throughout the course, I'm going to be perpetually giving you what I consider to be good industry information. All of this is information that I've used in industry. It's tools that I've used in industry. And so what the final exam is a comprehensive case that builds upon those tools, and I'll be mentioning what they are as we progress through the course. So really, by the time you're done the course, your final exam, you are going to be given a hypothetical farm, and you are going to do a financial analysis for this farm. So you'll be doing cash flows, 12-month cash flow. You're going to be using loan amortization calculators. You're going to be calculating ratios. You're going to be analyzing financial statements. You're going to be answering some questions on farm succession. You're going to be answering some questions on farm taxes, capital gains. And these are items that we give you in kind of short, bite-sized chunks throughout the entire course. And again, in week 15, I do give 15 or 16, I think it's week 16 rather. In week 16, I do give you a practice final case. So you'll be able to see what the final case is. And it's almost going to be not identical. It's going to be the same type of analysis and information, but I change all the numbers for your final exam. So you can think of the practice case as almost a dry run for your final exam. So the final exam is really a GPA booster, and it's just a chance for you to do your first financial analysis on an industry farm. So with that, let's go down to what does an average week look like. So chapter 1, and I'll tell you right now, chapter 1 doesn't have a quiz, just because I find a lot of people are just getting their textbooks at this point in time. So we'll start with the chapter quizzes here in chapter 2 or chapter 3. I can't remember which one it is off the top of my head. But the first week is just a chance for you to get used to the material, used to the delivery here. So each week I have a discussion forum, so if there's anything special I want to talk about that week, I post the information in the discussion forum. As well, if you have any questions for me or want to bring something forward to the class, feel free to use the forum here. Now each week I have unique instructions. So if I click on the instructions for week 1, all right, this talks about everything I would like you guys to go through here in the first week. All right, so familiarize yourself with Moodle. Hoping you are getting your textbook sooner rather than later, right? And so you can get that from the college or you can order it online. And then I've got some articles. Now, I like to keep your topics, your material as relevant as possible. So I do bring in articles. Now, I've got some base articles, and what I do every year is I update them as new and better articles and more relevant articles come forward. So I've got a couple articles here that I would like you guys to read, and it deals with industry problems, industry issues. And then I've got an assignment. Now, your first assignment here is going to be a written essay. And so if you click on this, you will need your textbook for this. If you have any issues, let me know. I have to be very careful about giving information from the textbook for copyright issues. But if you're not going to get your textbook, say, for another week, fire me off a quick email. I'll give you the questions. All right, so I'll just take a snapshot of the textbook for you so that way you can get started. So your assignments are going to be a mix of textbook questions, and then as we get further into the textbook in chapter 4 and forward, we actually have more specific industry assignments that you'll be working on. But the first 3 chapters, at least 1, 2, and 3, are you guys going through the textbook and basically writing some essay questions here to get you guys started. And I always encourage you guys, throw in real-world examples, throw in examples from the articles you're reading. I always enjoy following up on those. And I always look at it that I'm not trying to necessarily test you on everything. In future chapters, you'll get multiple choice quizzes. That will be testing you on the textbook. When we get these essay-based questions, I'm more interested in what you think, your interpretation. And I'm not saying your interpretation will be right or wrong, because it's your interpretation. It's got to be right. So what I encourage you to do is give me your thoughts, and then just tell me why you think in this particular fashion. If you have some industry information to back it up, or some real-world information to back it up, that's awesome. Include that. All right, and you'll get a feel for this as I go through and I grade your assignments here. And I'm pretty generous for the first couple because we're just getting to know each other, and you're getting a feel for the course here. So that's what I wanted to do to get you guys started. Generally by week 15, if people are interested, I don't mind opening up the remainder, because we're about a month away from the end of the course at that point in time. And if people want me to open up the last 3 or 4 chapters, I'm usually happy to do so. But I have learned over time that it's better to give you guys more bite-sized chunks, and if you get done on Monday or Tuesday, great. Then you don't need to worry about any other assignments for the rest of the week. You can focus on non-school items. All right, so with that, I said 5 minutes, and it looks like I'm going to go closer to 15. And so, yeah, so I'll wrap up here. One thing I always like to point out, if you ever hit anything technical that you're not sure of, fire me off an email. I'm always happy to create these videos. Often it'll take me half an hour to type out an answer, but it only takes me 5, 10, 15 minutes to actually bring up the question, to go through the solution. And generally when I do that, what I'll do is I'll keep the person who's asking the question anonymous. But if somebody's got the question, I'm sure everybody or most people are thinking about it. So usually what I'll do, if I do up a video for somebody, again, I'll keep it anonymous, and then I'll post that particular video in the discussion board for that particular week. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go through Moodle here. So I'm looking forward to working with you guys. If you have any questions, again, feel free to email me or reach out, and that's what I'm here for. All right, so I'm sure I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great day.